Welcome back to uh, LKN's podcast. Well, today this is going to be a long discussion. I know it's one way talking, but I would try to cover as much as possible on the educational sector, right? Especially related to Industry 4 and what is happening currently and how it would shape as we proceed further in the recent future. We will be covering a lot of topics, AI in education, big data in education, as well as cloud computing in education, IoT in education. And we'll also talk about the benefits of each one of this and what exactly would these technologies shape the education sector in Industry 4 as we proceed further, right? With this fourth industrial revolution, I'm sorry. With this, the fourth industrial revolution has already started, and AI boom is also there. And we can already see there are many tools which are upcoming for helping the students gain knowledge using these AI tools, right? It can be ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, X's Grok, Cloud. There are many other things which are coming up, but basically, these tools have not been formally adopted. So, going forward, as the AI matures, you can see that AI would be part of the official tools in the education sector, and it would be incorporated part of the students' day-to-day learning habits. Can be, I'm not talking about only at the formal college education, but this would also get into the roots of the uh, uh, as small as the mid primary, say grade one, grade two. It would get into at a stage where the okay, that's too far. Okay, but that's part of okay. Let's stick to Industry 4.0. So in Industry 4.0, you would see that it would be used, it's already used, especially in good colleges. I don't want to take the name, although I know that how it is being used. But in most of the very known, how to put it across, not as in popular, but more from the quality of the education. This AI is already being implemented into the college degree programs where the research papers are involved. You can already see there's a lot of noise about the AI-based research not being accepted in the college, but this would fine-tune in Industry 4.0, where uh, the research papers would have a different acceptance based on AI use, and this would be formalized at a college sector. But since I started that, let's talk about Industry 5 also. In the Industry 5, you would be able to see AI getting into the schools without the human intervention because AI would be s- see, I don't want to degrade any of the occupations. But over a period of time, what you would see is AI will take over because this would be more of a recital which is happening in most of the countries, especially at a schooling level, right? So it's more of memorization which is happening. And AI can do a good job, especially with the approach involved, not about the memorization, but with the help of developing the thought process and debating different concepts. AI can make better judgment. So this is what you would see in Industry 5, where AI would be so involved in shaping the brains of the kids, their philosophical thoughts, maybe their language expertise, maybe their understanding of mathematics skills, maybe the methodologies needed, part of the learning of mathematics, or even the advanced physics or biology. So you can see that AI would intervene or say take over completely in Industry 5, but for 4, it would put a kind of a foundation where most of the college research papers would be enabled by AI, and most of the universities would formalize the use of AI in a way which is acceptable. When I say acceptable, it doesn't mean that it's just a recitation of the past or the current known attributes, but it would be connecting the dots, and the acceptance of research papers would be in such a way where the natural thoughts and the humanization is brought into picture rather than just the collective intelligence, right, which is already there. So the research papers would be accepted in such a way where there is more to it than what is just a recital or a collective intelligence, right? That happens part of Industry 4.0 itself, especially at the uh, 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 graduate level or at the master's level. You can see this difference in Industry 4.0. As far as the schooling is concerned, it would be informally accepted, and the teacher's occupation would still remain. And AI-enabled learning will not happen at a schooling level in Industry 4.0, right? Uh, because there is a lot of quality errors at this part of the time. And as you know, one of the pioneers of AI industry, he himself has stated that AI can't be trusted on the specifics of the content being done. This is similar to, I mean, if you connect the dots, right? This happened when Wikipedia came into picture. We were considering Wikipedia as the single source of truth initially. But over a period of time, what happened is when everyone got admin privileges or was able to understand how the acceptance works in Wikipedia, you can't trust Wikipedia. So, in the same way, AI learning sources are many as of now, and there is a maturity which has to pass wherein its learning has to be curated in a way where it puts out the authentic information rather than just having a collective information, right? So that's where I see AI would not be used part of schooling in Industry 4, and also even in the college and master's program and also the doctorate programs. What I see is the research papers would be accepted more than the only if it is more than the collective intelligence, because what AI is at this part of the time is only collective intelligence. It is not authentic, but it is just collective intelligence where it has access to many sources of data, and it comprehends or say recites what is already known. But the access is so much that as of now, AI can on itself contradict its own statement compared to the previous statement, especially because the data source being many, right? Once this gets into a space where it actually uh, can be trustable, that's where the Industry 5 starts, and you can see the AI take over the education sector to a greater extent. Right. And just to add, since I started about Industry 5.0, there would be subscription-based models for knowledge over a period of time in Industry 5.0. So it's more like how to put it across. Uh, it's more like access to information, access to collective intelligence would be based on the uh, subscriptions per module, per subject, per topic, however the subscriptions may be. But these subscriptions over a period of time enables the brain to have more memory and helps you have access to the already collated information which is authentic, and you would be able to rely on that and also have a subscription uh, uh, similar to companies which are working on the concepts called Neuralink. Well, this is not telepathy, but it's more like a subscription with a device which transmits information in bytes into your brain directly. It will not be something which you have to go through a surgery or something, because there are a lot of research papers which is going on where the transmission of knowledge can be done as there are different concepts. Basically, the bone conduction maybe is one thing, and the frequency transformation may be one thing. So there are many things which is being researched at this part of the time, but that happens only in Industry 5, not in Industry 4. And when I say Industry 4 and Industry 5, if you look at Industry 5, it's not like it starts across the world at the same time, because China has already initiated Industry 5. Uh, US is partially near to starting Industry 5. But if you look at India, we are yet to we are not even halfway through Industry 4, right? So it's basically the resources available, the raw materials available to enable these products at a cheaper, affordable way. So there are many other factors which covers this topics. So that's where I'm not talking about a year or being specific about when it will happen, but it also has many other uh, dependencies, especially because if we have a stable government who is more towards getting into the adoption of the new industry machineries, maybe, or basically when the government concentrates on developing a particular aspect, that's when the sector will grow. In India, it's like we don't even get our syllabus changed on a yearly basis, right? It happens at a very longer duration where the syllabus is reviewed. When I say syllabus, the contents of what is being taught in a college or in a school is reviewed at a longer frequencies. So when the graduates from the college pass out, they're not equipped matching what is happening in Indian industries itself or in the IT sectors or any sector for that matter, right? So there's a bigger gap between what is taught in the college and how they transition to the jobs, right? So I'm saying the different things. or different dependencies, and not all sectors would be developed at the same time. It will be taken in phases by the government. Like the current phase of concentration on on the central government in India is on the defense, right? So the infrastructure's gone for a hit. Okay, let's not talk about that. Okay, so what I'm saying is when they concentrate on the education sector, as in the development part, that's when you can see these things happening in real time. That's the reason I'm not taking a specific year at this part of the time. But in China, you can see that the AI has already entered to an extent to the schooling also. So that's the reason I'm calling it as Industry 5 is initiated there. And US, it's about to start in US, right? Not that keen on UK because I have less contacts there and I didn't get any research papers specific to what's happening in UK. And there was very less content which I can incorporate into this podcast. Okay. But the trainers the teachers are being trained now to, I mean, no, I would say the teacher's job would be at stake, especially because in India, especially, the teachers don't get into the research mode. They just recite things, make it understandable. Yeah, they have a human touch, I agree. But they don't get into other activities other than the recital or the memorization part, right? So this will change if at all the teacher's job stays. That means they have to equip themselves to do more than the just the recital and the memorization part, right? They have to get involved themselves in the research, and that's where I'm saying this is not happening in India, but in states, for example, one of the books, what was that? Mind. Okay. Anyways, there was a book. Let me get that part. Just give me one quick minute. I don't know where I can find it. I keep forgetting the names. Have become very bad. Uh, a huge collection though. I'm sorry, but this is much needed because the work which I saw was from a schooling teacher in the States who had written a book. Um, okay, anyways, let's leave that part. Let's keep that part. Or say, I'll give a glimpse. This is, I forgot the name about the book, but there was a research on how the mind works, basically, the growth mindset and and I don't know the other mindset also. Anyways, there was concept which was researched in a school where every day a little complex solution or a problem was presented, and the growth mindset started developing where they started accepting a slightly difficult challenge every time it was presented. Rather than there was another mindset where they found everything was easy and had a entitlement that If it is difficult, I wouldn't even try that. Anyways, that was a real schooling research which was done. So similarly, this has started in US already, right? So, but in India, this concept doesn't exist. There's no schooling teacher who gets into a research mode, right? There are college, not even college, there are uh, I mean, college in the sense the graduate, bachelor's, right? But for master's program, we see this mentality as well as the thought process, wherein the tutors in the master's program gets into a research mode and gets into a practice mode. But this doesn't happen at a bachelor's level or school, sorry, the schooling level in India, right? So this is what I wanted to say. So the approach would change drastically, step by step, in a phased way, wherein the teachers would be incorporated into a state where the entire education approach will change. So the syllabus or the content of what is being taught, how to structure the mind, how to have or say how to have or build a phased approach of growth mindset. These all will come into picture not only in the States but also in India, and it would be AI enabled. So AI would be used by these teachers to model the entire learnings at a schooling level as well as at a bachelor graduate level, as well as at the master's level, as well as at the doctorate level also, right? So the tedious way of reciting and memorization would go away gradually, and that gradual phase will start and end in Industry 4 itself, wherein AI will take over completely in Industry 5. Industry 5, what happens is the device which can be attached somewhere near to the brain would be, not as in using a surgery, which is happening right now, but there are advanced research happening on frequency-based information transfer as well as bone conduction-based information transfer, which will enable AI built new approaches to transfer information at a very short period of time. And these devices will be at a subscription basis. And I'm not sure how they would put in the restrictions of content, but from what we know, based on one of the Neuralinks a brain surgery on a lady, she was able to recollect this information even after the chip was removed. So the brain was trained on it. So as long as that remains in phase, that means we would be able to uh, collect and withhold that information in the brain for a longer period of time. All right. So that way, would be superhumans with all the information. Anyway, so that is Industry 5.0. And coming to big data, right? Big data is happening. I mean, big data, we already have scattered resources everywhere, right? It's happening with AI. You can see the number of sources from where the AI has access to the information is vast. We can talk about privacy, we can talk about IP infringement, whatever it is. But what I see is basically the access to these information is vast, and so does the research involved or enabling the learning management system completely is also vast. There is a huge opportunity here wherein the big data can be used. For example, as small as this, the growth mindset, right? I don't think, other than education system on the whole, having having the syllabus in a way where it is complicated at every grade level, these lecturers or the tutors in the school are not using it to enable or mature the mind of the kids in the school where they would be able to take up the complex task. It is not, I mean, they are not aware. So basically, big data comes into picture as soon as AI enabled learning comes into progression in Industry 4. What happens is the tutors will have access to n number of resources from where they can learn and improve their teaching abilities and also improvise on their uh, teaching delivery also. So AI enables them in Industry 4.0, but in Industry 5, tutors would be at a state where they have to enable AI completely by structuring the device models or the subscription models. So the tutors would be doing a different kind of work in 5 rather than what's happening in 4 or now. Okay, now I mean we're lagging behind. This is specific to India. But this is where I see that the structure, what happens in Industry 4.0 would be completely AI enabled, and there would be formal process to onboard this AI systems as a way of enabling the tutors to deliver better. Okay, so there are certain systems already like Apex Learning and Civitas Learning, right? But this is happening in states, right? But not in India. But even in states, it's limited because you can see in states it's mostly the public education system which is there, and private is a little expensive, and public is funded, so they don't have access to most of the paid subscriptions, although few might. But you can see this adoption rate increasing over a period of time, and the schooling would have tutors enabled to use AI to deliver better, right? And coming to the next one is the IoT education. Uh, IoT education, we see lives there. I mean, I'm talking about the HomePod or even the Alexa, right? Or even the Google Home. So these are not yet developed for these categories. So in Industry 4, you can see that the AI takes over these devices and would be enabling education sector to an extent where the homework or the additional learning, what usually happens in tuitions being simplified, tuitions in the sense about private home learning or even the what do you call uh, I don't know what tuition is called in states, but basically it's the additional learning which helps them understand the topics in schools, right? We usually get a tutor at home and or maybe a private tutoring which happens using the systems like Tutor Vista, where I worked one of my first companies. So these systems would be using, I mean, the kind of additional learning needed, it will be covered part of Google Home, Apple HomePod, or Google Alexa, sorry, Amazon Alexa, right? These would be able to cater to the additional learning, additional education needs in Industry 4.0. But coming to Industry 5, those devices of which I always take Neuralink because I'm aware of it and they are publicly making announcements. So so these devices which can transfer information to the brain would take over with tutors at the controlling stage of these IoT devices, which would transfer information at a subscription-based way. Okay. And the next topic is the cloud computing in education. Cloud computing is needed when the information has to be stored, especially with AI, right? So this is nothing but the recitation and the memorization part, which AI will take over initially in phase zero or phase one of industry uh, four, and also would be the foundation layer going forward, right? So these cloud solutions would enable recital and memorization or ease of access of a few already known information as a storage capacity and ease of access, right? And these educational systems would be dependent on initially to use these cloud computing options to enable, I mean, even if we move to Industry 5, there is a need to recite as well as memorize. That will not go away, right? The information might be passed on, but if you are unable to uh, retrieve the information which is passed on to you, then there will be an entire collapse. So, to practice the recital and memorization, or at least to an extent, the different methodologies of retrieving the known information from the brain, that has to be made stronger. And schooling, as a matter of fact, the majority of the focus is on retrieval because you have to retrieve the information from the brain, right? That's where the recital and memorization is kind of made stronger in the schooling days. But over a period of time, uh, this is still needed. So that's where the cloud computing comes into picture and makes the ease of access kind of very affordable and accessible to everyone, right? And some of the benefits, time and space dependency, as I said, one of the advantages of cloud computing is you can access it from home, right? Or any other setting, basically. Or you can say that when it comes to time and space, right? The in Industry 5, those devices, the IoT devices, which enables information transfer at a very less time, is also a benefit. And personalized education, for example, the identification, growth mindset itself, you can take one as an example, right? For there are many things which comes into picture. I'll talk about it. For example, there is a psychology-based survey which happens at the college level in states, right? Based on that, a couple of factors are identified on the learning abilities and also the thinking maturity of the students. And not sure if it happens in public education in states, but this happens in the private education system where they regularly monitor the different. science, how the mind is working, right? So there is a psychology test done at a particular frequency in this private education where they gauge the mindset basically and tailor the needs, the educational needs based on that, right? So this will still come into picture. The only thing is the psychology test would enable the AI to tailor the delivery methodology to concentrate on a particular individual and improve. Basically, it would give a phased improval system where they would be able to develop the mindset in a better way, right? Lastly, the learning flexibility, as I said, any place, any time you missed a class, you have access to it. Even now, it's slowly taking up. The recorded sessions are there in couple of education system in, I mean, mostly in private schools in states, right? What they missed on that day can be, it's not only the content of the study, but basically the recorded sessions are also available. In India, this is happening in the additional education apart from the formal education which happens, the tuition needs, the tutoring needs, it's happening in those apps and paid subscription models where the recorded sessions are available for future use. But in industry 4 you can see this coming to be part of formal education and also in the college and as well as in the master's or the doctorate programs, you'll be able to see this content being available for consumption to the students, right? With that, am I missing anything? No. With that, I end the session. So again, Industry 4.0 would fit in the foundation for us, and Industry 5 would be at the peak with what is visible now. What is after Industry 5.0? I don't know as of now. But you can see a lot of developments happening as we enter and mature Industry 5.0. And my assumption is that we would have access to a lot of structured, relevant, correct information because of AI, and that too with a time boxed learning, where, for example, it might be as small as in 30 minutes you become a rocket scientist, right? Just saying. But that is Industry 5.0. So with that, I wind this up, and that's all. Thank you. Signing off, and keep learning. I haven't started on continual learning, kind of from almost 2 years. I haven't learned much. So it's time for me to concentrate and pull up my socks. Okay, thank you. Bye.